Happy New Year, everyone. Hope everybody's got their resolutions all mapped out. We haven't broke them already after the second day. So today I just want to, since it's a new year, I wanted to talk about one of my biggest passions it's always been since I was a little boy, the state of football today. As my washing machine is quietly churning along. Had a big wash. It's been a while since I been a bit lazy these days in Christmas break. But here we are. The state of football today. I just feel that I've lost the love, the passion, the enjoyment, the patience to enjoy what I used to run home and try and find as much football as possible. I would have watched, back in the days, I would have watched a non-league, third division match on teams I had nothing new about, but it was football, it was on the telly. I would watch it. It didn't matter. Women's football, I would watch it. Just because I just loved it so much. I loved the athleticism. I loved the intelligence of the game. I loved the purity of the game. I loved the simpleness of the game. But I don't feel that anymore. Like a lot of things, to be honest with you, in these days, Gen Xers like myself, I think a lot of us feel the same. That we are overwhelmed with mediocrity everywhere. And I know that it's a cliche. Everybody else always says, it's not as good as it was back in the days. But it wasn't. It's not. And I'm only here to talk about football today. But that can encompass lots of things that are not as good today as they once were. And just a small, minute sample would be things like music, movies, films, entertainment, comedy, you name it. But we're not here to talk about all that. And that's just a small sampling. So that's why I've been trying to focus on things that are good still today. I love the sport of cycling, for example. There's still a lot of rawness in that, and passion in that sport. But let's go back to football. When I was a kid, I remember my first game, and I'm sure my story is like countless other stories from everybody that first enjoyed their first football match. My grandfather took me. This was in Scotland. And I remember the first game. It was Hibs Rangers at Easter Road. And my granddad was a big Hibs fan. And my dad, ironically enough, is a Rangers fan. But my dad wasn't there. It was just me and my granddad, as far as I remember. And it was a very cold day. It was in the winter. And that's not even the team I support, but it was my granddad's team. And I remember coming into the stadium, it was still terracing back then. And we were in the family enclosure, which was, back in those days, it was behind the goal. And even though there was families there, it was pretty rough. The first swearing I'd ever heard, like serious swearing, not just the old F word, but the serious swearing, the C-bombs, and you look like this, and you're this, and you're doing this, and you're doing this, and your mother did this. I never heard all that stuff before. But other than that, I mean, that was enjoyable to a kid like me. I was only 8 years old, something like that, and it's exciting, it's new, it's fresh. But other than that, it was the just the emotion of and the intensity of the crowd, the enjoyment, the oneness that the team had that was playing with the fans. The team, it was like watching your brother play. That's how I felt. It was always like watching your brothers play. People that had the same upbringing as you. People that had the same values, ideals. They knew the same people. I mean, my granddad used to say, "Oh, that boy there, he's the neighbor of this one, and he's the son of this guy I know back in the mines, and blah blah blah." It was like that then, and you felt that closeness to the players, that they weren't so far removed from you, and they had the same goal as you did as a fan. You wanted your team to win, and so did they, but with the same passion, with the same fervor, with the same hopes to win that match, just like you did. The same hatred against the other team, or if they were playing, because when I was playing football, I hated the team I was playing against. Just for those 90 minutes, I hated them. Some teams I hated also after the 90 minutes, but just for those 90 minutes, I hate them. It was war. It's a battle, and that's what football was always was. It was an intelligent battle, played with brains and skill, and cheekiness and deviousness, and being half Italian. That deviousness was something that I also enjoyed seeing. So that's how I was brought up, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. It was so exciting to watch games. It was like when you first walked up the stairs and you saw that green grass and all those thousands of people singing, being passionate. I've been to a lot of games recently, and it just isn't like that anymore. There's 1,000 aspects of why it isn't as good as it used to be. 1,000. But what I want to really shine a light on today is that the game is just not that great. It's not that fun anymore to watch. It's a bunch of athletes that are very highly paid, and I'm not taking anything away because of why they're paid, of how much they're paid. I still think it's too much to kick a ball around, but there's a lot of people that get paid way too much in this world, and not just athletes. And some people don't get paid what they should be getting paid. But that's another point. That's besides the point. But the real reason is when you watch these players and the tactics that they use, it's deflating, because there's nothing unexpected about a football match anymore. I'm talking about the real high level, top level here. I'm talking about Premier League, Champions League, etc. Out of maybe 10 games, one of them will be interesting. The rest are pretty much carbon copies of each other. It's little 5-yard passes, sideways, backwards, sideways, backwards, sideways, backwards. and then the defending team will have 10 men behind the ball. Now, a team that isn't as strong as the team they're playing, usually that's always been the case, that they were a bit more defensive, a bit more tighter, but now it's gone excessive. Now you've got teams that are strong enough that just play on the counter break, and when they're playing the counter break, all they do is put 10 men behind the ball, and the other team are just doing these little pity passes. There's no ingenuity, no creativity, no flair. Where are all the great players now? Where are all the really sublime players? Now, there's some good players out there, of course there is. I wouldn't expect less for someone that's getting paid £300,000 a week. You better be a good player. But where are those magical players? Those players that you pretended to be when you played, in your room by yourself. You were pretending to be those incredible players. I used to pretend to be Baggio. I used to pretend to be Socrates. I used to pretend to be Kenny Dalglish. Who else did I love being? Eder, Zico, these type of players here. I used to love to pretend to be Valderrama. I used to play for Colombia. I had the big curly hair because my hair is pretty curly. So I got nicknamed Chazarama when I was a kid. And it was, I used to love watching these players. And also these players, back in those days, it's not like you saw them every week. I would follow them. Like I would see, for example, Valderrama at one point played in France for Montpellier. And I used to, back in those days, you never saw the games or even the highlights. It was very hard to see the highlights. But I would follow the results every weekend. I would look at the results and see how he was doing. Italian teams, they fit better, so I would watch the Italian teams, of course, more weekly. Baggio, for example. So, yeah. Now, so today, I don't feel like we have those players anymore. Those players that really captivate the imagination. I think the last ones we really had were Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar to a certain extent. Even though I'm not a massive fan, he still is. I know a lot of the younger ones, they still love Neymar, even though I don't think he fulfilled his potential. And Mbappe to a certain extent. Mbappe just because he's a bit of a force of nature. Other than that, I don't really see these magical players. There's a lot of good players, functional players, well-schooled players, well-drilled players. But where's that spark? Where's that extra, that touch of God? If that divine, that you've been blessed, like truly blessed, and you see it comes in glimpses. I saw it in players like Ronaldo, the old Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo, also the new Ronaldo as well, for sure. I saw it in players like Kenny Dalglish. I saw it in players like Glenn Hoddle, John Barnes. These are players that just had just this extra shine to them. And it didn't always, they didn't always perform. But then there would be moments where they would just do something that and just the majestic way that they carried the ball. Platini was another one. Platini was someone I wanted to be when I was a kid. When I used to take a penalty, pretend in my room, I used to kiss the ball, put it on the spot, just like Michel Platini used to do. And I know that some of the younger kids are gonna go like, "Man, I do that too. I did it too." And now I get that. I just feel like the romance is going out of the game now, for obvious reasons, the money. But it's just sad, when I watch I get bored watching matches now. I just feel that I'll just keep it on the background now and do something else. It doesn't, maybe we've all got a bit of ADHD now with phones and all that, screens, that we can't, focus anymore. But it's because the game's also very predictable and boring. And there's no flair. And you're just watching the game for the outcome and hoping maybe that something will happen. And sometimes it does, but I just don't enjoy it anymore. And I know I'm not alone. My dad's the same. When we watch a game, we're just like, what is this? What is this we're watching? The game is played in a fraction of the pitch, the whole game, just outside the D. And that is where 70% of the game is being played. There's no challenges anymore. There's no midfield battles anymore. There's no wing play anymore. There's no crunching tackles. Everything is so subdued. Everything is so predictive. And it's sad. It's sad because this is the way the game has gone. But as the world becomes more and more homogenized, I don't know if that's a word, mediocre, carbon copy, at some point there will be a breaking point in all of society, and football makes up that little piece in the jigsaw that is society, sport. And at some point there will be a change. I don't know if it's due to the consumer, i.e. me. I enjoy now, for example, going to watch non-league football. Football's a bit more raw. I believe it or not, I still enjoy watching the Scottish League because I feel there's more. The players are not as good, obviously, and there's lots of problems with it, don't get me wrong. But the heart seems to be still there. I don't like the fact that you might have one Scottish team and they might have one Scottish person there. I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong everywhere. You can't relate. Even though these players, and they don't stay for long too. There's this kind of black market on players now. It's all a bit fishy. They don't stay enough. But tell me your thoughts. There'll be a part 2 to this. This is just top of the head ramblings. Next one I'll try to be a bit more decisive and write down the more critical points so I can get them out to you. See you.